Everyone, we here at Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and the Pact Podcasting Networks have a special word for you. Thank you. Your participation lifted Mission for Healthy Heroes to all new heights. You watched, you participated, you helped us make a difference. I'm sorry the video was a little long.
When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your business can be seen because people know your business will offer hope to organizations like Todd Lingle of CARES Foundation. CARES Foundation is a proud mission partner of Community Pay It Forward. CARES Foundation is dedicated to educating young drivers of the dangers of impaired and distracted driving. Every sale through Community Pay It Forward helps support incredible organizations like the CARES Foundation.
This wall took 2,500 years to build. We don't have that long. That's why your support means so much. Please, donate or volunteer and join the community partner honor wall. Because community takes us all. So please, join us today.
Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present, and I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and the Pact Podcasting Networks. How you doing today? Welcome to FootPrints Forward. This is our last day of Brain Injury Awareness Month. As many of you know, this is a very important month for me due to dealing with my own brain injury. I have two guests today. I recorded this show with two guests today, and I'm live, by the way, right now. So if you want to send me out a message, please do. But last week I recorded with two guests who are very good friends of mine who also deal with their brain injuries and who have success and we are looking not for the woe, pity me. What we're looking to do is make sure that people understand that, you know what, every single one of us, in one way or another, has things that they have to work through. Whether it's a brain injury, whether it's just, learning by touching things or by doing it, or if it's better if it's told to us. We all do things different, and we all can do amazing things. Some of us just might have to take extra steps. Some of us might need to be me, generally. I'm in a very dark room. I lost my camera last week, and that's the reason why it kept going in and out and in and out and in and out and fading. And so I got this new camera, which is not as good, but it is not moving around. So hopefully it doesn't make you sick. You can see me a little bit clearer, so that might make you sick, but it is what it is. But today I am going to be playing these interviews with a really good friend of mine, Jeff Pearson, from Invisible. He's from Hydro with Hope and the Invisible Condition television show. I knew it. I couldn't remember it. So sorry about that, Jeff. Invisible Condition television show. He's looking for guests who are dealing with invisible conditions, thriving with invisible conditions. Coming up, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, we do have family networking, which is a chance for you to come and join us. Talk to us about who you are, what you do, what you're looking for, who you can help, and how others can help you. It also gives you a chance to talk about, hey, I'm looking for a job. If anybody has a job in this field, please let us know. If anybody is hiring, hey, we've got jobs available doing this. Does anybody have any, need? Does anybody have any experience? Please send us your resume. You're the ones we're looking for on family networking. You do not have to be part of the Community Pay It Forward family. You should be, but you do not have to be. So please join us next Thursday at 6 p.m. East on Family Networking. If you want to know how to join us, please just send me an email and say, I would like to join you guys for Family Networking. All of my information is in the scroll that's going across the screen right now. So it's Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us. That's Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us. So our first guest is my good friend, Jeff Pearson. Yeah, look, Jeff has been he's been on this show multiple times. He is a really, really good friend of mine, Hydro with Hope, hydrocephalus. And we are looking to do another video together when it comes to, I believe it's September 20th is National Hydro with Hope Awareness Day. And so we can explain a little bit more about what hydrocephalus is, what people need to do, and how we can work with them. Because it doesn't mean, just because things are different doesn't mean that they're not useful. So just remember, folks, one of the best things that you can do is take and ask somebody at work. Ask anybody at work. How can I make this more comfortable for you? It's amazing how much more production you will get if people feel loved. One, but if you make them comfortable, if you make them understand that, you know what, I'm here because of you. My business is only here because of you. After that, we're going to be joined by Eryn Anitavi. Brand new friend of mine. Beautiful, beautiful story. Beautiful heart. And Eryn has offered us a new gift. Along with our Dignified Dementia blanket. Wow, you can really actually see this on this with this camera. But this Dignified Dementia blanket, you will also have a chance to win Eryn's books. It's a two book set. One has the actual rules, and one is the explanation of the book. Let's see if I can find. There we go. And this book is called If and Then. If things were like this, then is the premise of the book. You also, in this package, get a beautifully hand-designed magic wand, because the magic happens if we care about each other. So this is another one of the prizes that we will be giving away simply by scanning the QR code you see in the corner. Every dollar donated is a spot on the wheel of giving. So please, please donate as much as you can when you can. This is all going to help us build and publish the Come Together Compass. We need your help, folks. I don't ever disguise that. The Come Together Compass is something that is very complex, and we've got a lot of work to do, and we need your help with this. So please, but when it's done, it is actually, the magic wand is beautiful with this, because that's where the magic can happen. We can help everyone with the Come Together Compass. I would like to now bring you our interview with my dear friend, great friend, wonderful partner. Hydro with Hope is one of our mission partners. You can donate to Hydro with Hope simply by choosing to shop with one of our partners. We'll talk more about that later. But here is my friend with Invisible Condition in Hydro with Hope, Mr. Jeff Pearson. New year, same story. It is March is brain injury month, and when brain injuries come around, there's no better guy to talk to than my buddy Jeff Pearson. And it's not because he's a little wackadoo. No. Okay, that has something to do with it, yeah. But no, truly, Jeff and I, we really made a connection when we first started talking, because we are two individuals who live with within that brain injury realm. And so being able to talk to Jeff it strengthens me personally, because I get to hear his story. And we always take the advice that I always give you. Jeff never comes at me and says, "You've got to try this. This is perfect. It's going to work for you. It's going to be..." We don't do it like that. We talk to each other. We talk about what's going on. We live with the ups. We live with the downs, but we talk about them. We try to make sure that, we're there for each other when we can. And one of these days, we're actually going to meet each other, since we're only like 2.5 hours away from each other. But
seriously,
Jeff Pearson, you have a wonderful TV show called Indivisible Condition.
Invisible Condition. Yeah.
Indivisible. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of stupid stuff this morning, and now I'm showing my stupidity.
It's all good, man.
You've got a wonderful show called Invisible Condition. Yes. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the show, the premise, and you've been doing it for a year or two.
Yeah. So Invisible Condition is the name of the show, and we are on E360 TV. We're actually on the Arion TV channel. So if we kind of hang out in that same world as Apple TV, Roku TV, Tubi TV, Pluto TV, right? All those online platforms that you pop on your Roku or your Fire Stick, and they all pop up. We're in that world. So we're a digital TV station. And we launched Invisible Condition on April 4th of 2023. So we are coming up on 3 years here in about a week, a little over a week. We will have been on the air for 3 years, which is unfreaking believable. Twice a week for 3 years. And we launched the show because, I like to include this part, because a lot of people don't think they have a good story,
Yeah.
And especially those of us in the invisible condition world, right? Like, oh, I had a great story and then I got this condition and now it's derailed my whole life and all this. That's crap, man. You still have a great story. You have a better story that just added to the story. So I didn't think I had a story either. I was born with a condition that requires brain surgery every once in a while. It's called hydrocephalus, and I didn't really understand what the heck it was until I was, a little bit older as a kid, and my parents sat me down and explained it to me a little bit. But so for me, multiple brain surgeries and multiple surgeries over your lifetime, and eye surgeries and abdominal surgeries, and go to the doctor all the time. I just thought that was normal. I thought that was what everybody did, until I met the network president at. She is the president, the co-CEO of E360 TV now. At the time, 3 years ago, she was also the network president of the channel we're on, which is called Eryn TV. And Julianne is her name. And she said, well, what are we talking about? Tell me your story. And I was like, well, okay, but I don't know. It's not much. Well, I started talking about it. And she said, what? You got to be kidding me. 4 brain surgeries in the last 10 years. That's insane. Let's talk more. Let's figure it out. Let's make a show out of this. More people have to share their stories. And so that's kind of where it came from. We created Invisible Condition, and we said, okay, anybody that lives with a medical condition or diagnosis that is invisible from the outside, I want to tell your story because you have a story. And we've had multiple episodes about similar conditions like traumatic brain injuries, hydrocephalus, fibromyalgia, there's so many, depression, anxiety. There's so many things out there that so many people have, but everybody's story is so unique that we can have somebody come on and talk about hydrocephalus multiple times. We can have somebody come on and talk about traumatic brain injuries multiple times because it's unique. Everybody's story is awesome. And by the way, everybody, Zach has actually been on the show twice now.
Yeah, twice. We're getting ready to film our third.
We're working on number 3 here, so we're going to record that soon. But yeah, Zach's got an amazing story. We got to talk about that story the first time, and then we were on with Stephanie the second time talking about One Hope, and so
from the Aziza Foundation, Stephanie.
No. Stephanie Simoes with.
Okay.
One Hope Wine, yeah. So I remember that was a show we did the two of us. No, Stephanie Berman's actually been on 3 times. So, yeah. So twice by herself and once with her mom, which was pretty awesome.
Well, I've met you with her, and you guys have been on together on this show.
Yes.
On 4, ironically 4. Brain injury awareness, because Stephanie's not only got the gynecological problems, but she also suffers with a brain injury. She suffered, and it is weird that we do say suffers with it. Okay.
She thrives with it. She was born with the same thing I was born with. She was born with hydrocephalus, and so her story is really unique. So, because she was born in a totally different country, she wasn't born in the United States, and so she had to be basically snuck out of that country at days old just to get to the U.S. to a hospital so she could have her first brain surgery and get a handle on this whole thing. So it's a crazy story, but it's a good one. She's amazing.
I'm here to tell you, if anybody is looking for a success story, a female empowerment story, anything like that, you need to get a hold of Stephanie Berman, because everything that she says from the heart. And there's been very few interviews I've had with her, Jeff, that don't end with tears in her eyes, which lead to tears in my eyes, because I feel her strength and what she's went through. But Jeff, one of the things that you and I have talked about, and I love the fact that you're starting to say that everyone has this story. Everyone has a story that needs to be shared, because you're right. You can talk to somebody and people discount themselves so many times. Well, what the hell have I done? How do people know? It's like, it's it's like transferable skills. Okay. When you sit down and you write all the things that you've done at different jobs, you wouldn't believe all the experiences you can have and what you can add to a resume that
Yeah.
can help you get a job. You think about people who have been around you, and you think about the littlest challenges that you've overcome. And Jeff, we tell people every day, if you never shut up, if you continue to tell people about those challenges, somebody's out there right now, and that little challenge that they're facing, to them, it may be something huge. It may be a
Oh yeah.
block that's affecting their life in a terrible way. And hearing your simplistic or complex way of getting around that challenge could seriously turn their lives around. And people just, it's funny because when I don't know if you get the same thing, but when we tell people this, they kind of look at you and they go, I don't know. You're making a lot of sense. And it's like, well, I don't just say this because, it's cliche or a niche thing, or it's, it sounds cool. No, it's true. It is so true.
Exactly. And you hit the nail right on the head there, man. When I'm talking, like, you and I are both serial networkers, man. I live for connecting people with things they need. Like, that is my jam. And so I'm networking every single day on online networking groups, on Zoom networking group. Like, I am out there. And that is one of the coolest things I love to do. And I don't care if I'm in person or on a Zoom call with you or on the phone with you, whatever. In fact, this just happened. First of all, let me say, I subscribe to the 10-10 rule. If I'm standing within 10 feet of you for more than 10 seconds, we're probably going to learn each other's names. And I might get to learn your story because people love to talk. And so in the supermarket, standing in line at the post office, going to church, whatever, I know people. And in fact, at church one time, this was such a crazy thing. I was literally walking out the front doors to go home after church. And there was a woman talking to somebody there, and I overheard the words seizures or brain injury or something. And I was like, I literally stopped and walked backwards for about 15 feet and just stood right next to her until it was like one of those cartoon moments. It was like, and then walked backwards and stood next to her.
Got that long leg that takes a step back, and then all of a sudden,
and then just waited patiently, and she got done with her conversation, and she's like, "Oh, hi." I said, "Look, you don't know me from anybody. I don't know you. We will. My name is Jeff, and this is who I am, and this is what I do, and I overheard you talking about this." It turns out I was able to refer her to 3 different places here in Colorado Springs that helped me with side effects and craziness that came from, because you don't go poking around in the brain with surgery without expecting some side effects, right? So the last 4 brain surgeries have riddled me with side effects, ranging from nonstop migraines for over a year to large motor tics to losing that filter in your brain that blocks out the background noise so you can actually live. I mean, we've had a lot of crazy stuff. I've also found remedies and treatments that are outside the medical world to get rid of those for me. So I had a lot of resources to share with her. And by the end of our conversation, she was almost in tears. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I think God literally picked you up and placed you next to me so that I could hear this." And this is the kind of thing you can do. I mean, when you're willing and listening, you can help people with this. You don't have to have a TV show. You don't have to be a speaker. You can just pay attention.
And see, the most inspiring part of your story there, Jeff, is we have no idea if those people who you introduced them to, we have no idea if they help her.
No clue.
Or if she's going to have a positive reaction to any of them.
Or if she even reaches out to him in the first place.
Yeah. But you know what you've done? She now has the knowledge that there's something out there. There's a chance. And that is all people are asking for. I always accustom this to when you're standing in that shopping line and you've been through the store, you're done, you've heard the screaming kids, all this stuff. All you want to do is get out of there. You go and get in line, and the first thing you see the person in front of you put up on that belt is the milk, and you're like, son of I came in here for milk, and now you got to take and walk back through to the milk. Okay. You never know what's in your cart, in your mental, in your verbal cart, that is going to make somebody sit there and go, oh my God, that's it. I've been looking everywhere. And I also let people know, look, it could be something that you yourself say 10 times a day, but the person in front of you reflected it verbally. It came differently out of their mouth, and now it makes more sense. Man. I ask people to do this verbal exercise. I ask them to say a word or say a sentence, any sentence, no matter what it is. Now change the reflection in that sentence a little bit and say it again. And you've got one sentence that says two different things. And it doesn't matter what the word combinations are.
Yeah.
There's, one can be a statement, one's a question. Maybe you've been saying it in a statement way for your entire life. And now all of a sudden, when you change it to a question, it makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I like to say, in fact, it's in our journal. We also have a nonprofit that helps people with hydrocephalus called Hydro with Hope, and hope is a big deal. And that QR code will lead you right to our page on Zach's website to check it more out and look into it more. And one of the things that we did with this journal, by the way, it's a fill in the blank journal that walks you through that whole experience of, holy crap, my kid or me or somebody in the family has to have brain surgery again to treat this crazy condition called hydrocephalus, because it is a condition of repeated brain surgeries typically. And so I've created a journal, a fill in the blank journal, to kind of walk them through, like, where are you and what's going on, and take notes so you have something to say to the doctor when you have a follow-up appointment. And there's fun stuff in there, like put a picture in there of your post-surgery funky flock of seagulls hair, or whatever. Or show me your new gnarly scar, that you got from surgery. Take a picture, put it in there. Because this is all cool stuff. 50 years from now, you can look back and go, wow, look how far I've come, right? And you've also got a resource that you can talk to the doctors with, so you're not, when you get to the doctor and you don't know what to say. But the point of this there's a spot in there called About Jeff, because I wanted to, kind of qualify myself. Like, who are you? Why are you thinking you could write this book? How do you know anything about this? And so there's a little bit about my history in there and my background. And one of the things I put in there is a quote that I heard that I've kind of adapted to myself. And it's that life doesn't have to be perfect to be amazing. And I've said that so many times, like you're saying, like you say it 1,000 times a day. It's like ingrained in your brain. It's like part of you. But when you say it in the right company, people are blown away. They're like, what? That's amazing. I've had that reaction from so many hosts on shows. They're like, that's an amazing quote. Where did you get that? It's just not part of their vernacular. It's just not part of their world. So they hear it and it's amazing. So I don't know. Everybody's story is different,
we also did talk about this, is that, some people will sit there and they'll look at that quote and they'll go, well, you got that from somewhere else. And
yeah, I did.
You know what? That doesn't matter. You were able to make it your own. And that's right. What's important. You were able to make it your own to where when you hear it every day, it means something to you that's completely different. By the way, there's one complete political party right now. If they were worried about stuff like that, they wouldn't be able to use their Make America Great Again thing, because that was first given by Ronald Reagan. So,
I remember that. I
want to think about what we're saying once in a while. So, but
there's no original thing on the planet anymore, man. If you've said it, 1,000 people have said it before you. So it's, I get it.
It's very unlikely that people are getting hurt in a certain way for the first time ever. So, people intend on, or people are really running out of ways of getting hurt. You have plans for another show. What can we do to help you achieve this?
You know, I appreciate that question, man. This show is something. Uh, the name of the show is 6 Degrees of Impact, and I wanted to build this show on the premise of 6 degrees of separation. And if anybody's not familiar with that concept, it's that everybody on the planet is connected by 6 people. So I think the joke is everybody's only 6 people away from Kevin Bacon, right? Like that's the guy that everybody picked. Like, ooh,
Yep.
everybody's connected. So incidentally, I just found out a couple of months ago that I'm only 3 degrees from Kevin Bacon. So I'm excited to meet him someday. Uh, but but 6 degrees of impact. So what that really means is I want to bring people on the show that have achieved something awesome, right? They've accomplished something incredible. They've built a company to $10 million. They've become an actor. They become a musician, an influencer. They have an everyday hero kind of story, and I want to bring them on the show and tell that story of, hey, maybe that like Jim Carrey tells a story of like he wrote himself a $10 million check, and then 5 years later he was able to cash it, right? Because the connections he made, and he got into Hollywood and made his first movie, and so I want to tell that story of those 6 degrees, right? So maybe you were sitting in a bar somewhere, somebody slid a business card across the bar to you, said, hey, give this guy a call, and you called him, lost the card, forgot about the connection altogether. But that guy led you over here to this person, and that led you to this person, and that led you to that organization over there. And you know what I mean? And 6 degrees later, 6 introductions later, you're an influencer, you're rocking it, you got 10 million followers, you're a best-selling author, whatever the story is. I want you to retrace those steps because I want everybody out there to realize that number one, nobody gets anywhere by themselves. It's always a group effort. You always have connections along the way that help you. Even people that call themselves overnight successes or one self-made, right? You're not. You had help. And keep your eyes peeled, man. Keep your head on a swivel, because that first degree of your story leading you down that amazing path you might have met them today. So pay attention, and pay attention to the people around you, like that 10-10 rule, right? You never know who you might meet. So that's I don't know. That's the show. We've got a couple guests lined up right now. We're going to start recording. God willing, we're going to start recording shows soon and be able to air it by summer and get it going. So yeah. So we're looking for sponsors and guests and all that stuff. So
I love the fact in which this video that we're going to play as soon as we're done with our live interview. We just performed your getting to know the family video, and one of the things that you were talking about is you want to make sure that Invisible is people don't have to pay to be on that one, because you want people to be able to come on that and share their story.
right.
And the impact program is going to be where the money's made. That's going to be where that's where that comes from, because
Right.
Taking away somebody's opportunity to share a story, Jeff,
I don't like it. It's never
it's damaging.
It's never sat well with me that I've ever had to charge a dime for somebody to be on this show, but TV is expensive. And I've lived indoors and eaten every day for a long time, and I'd like that to continue. So I do need to pay my bills. I just don't want to do it that way. So that's why I'm looking for sponsors for both shows, to sponsor the show. And then guests on 6 Degrees of Impact. Yes, you're absolutely right, Zach. Thank you for pointing that out. Appearance on that show. Now, if Kevin Bacon calls me and says he wants to be on the show, I'm never going to charge him a dime. I'm going to let him come on the show for free, because the exposure alone will be awesome. But if there's business owners out there that want to be on the show, I'm treating this show as a high ticket business offer with a TV appearance built in. We are building in so much other benefit, national press releases that go with the show. We're creating a commercial for your business that when you come on the show, we're going to play that during the show, and you get to keep it and use it wherever you want afterwards. We're going to make you the sponsor of the show for that month. You're going to be the sponsor of Invisible Condition for that month, which means you go out on every promo material that goes out for the entire month for both shows. We're getting you so much exposure. It's worth every penny. And media is never free. So
No,
oh,
no, it's
we're,
not.
we're just calling a spade and saying, look, business owners, I know you know that you have to spend money on marketing and advertising. That's what this is. I would love to help you get the word out. We're already going to have tens of thousands of viewers on the day that we're airing this because we're using one of our existing show days to start that show. So it's going to air on Fridays at noon Eastern, which we already have a show there. So we're going to, so it's going to take off. I can't wait.
I just wanted to make sure that we got that out there and people could really know about it. Jeff, let's go on ahead and let's get back to one of the reasons why, well, the reason why we connected, and that is Hydro with Hope. And let's talk a little bit about it because look, this is the reason why you and I connected. This is something that you and I are able to have conversations about because you and I, we have a story where there's similarities where, quite honestly, the injuries are nowhere near each other, but it's something that we can both understand because as I've stated every time, you break your arm, they're going to put your arm in a cast, they're going to put pins in your arm. They're going to do what they have to do. They're going to put your arm in a cast. 6 weeks later, they're going to take the cast off. Boom, your arm is healed.
You're good. Yeah.
They don't do that with brains.
No.
And you hear a lot of the phrase, we're going to try.
Which is just a fancy way of saying we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Let's
give this a shot.
Yeah.
Oh,
it means they don't.
If I had a dime for every time I've heard that, I wouldn't need the treatments anymore because I'd be so rich I'd be able to just sit in a black room all my life.
Right? Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, man. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. My traumatic brain injuries have been several. I've had probably had 7, 8, 9 in my lifetime. 2 of them probably from falling down and wiping out. And I remember one of them was in elementary school. I wiped out off some playground equipment, woke up in the nurse's office. But the rest of them are from all my surgeries. I mean, every time you go poking around in the brain for surgery, brain surgery is a big deal. When you go poking around in there, of course you're causing a traumatic brain injury. You're messing around in there. And the brain doesn't like to be messed with. So I'm definitely familiar with traumatic brain injuries, for sure.
It is such a miracle muscle. Your brain is such a miracle muscle because it has the strength to, heal everything.
Yep.
It seems, but itself. and itself, it sits there and it goes, well, I don't know what the hell to do now. I mean, I'm stuck. So,
right.
But no, I mean, let's be honest. Your brain can, does a lot of healing
it can
on its own. But
it depends on the brain. Honestly, everybody's brain is so different. I mean, it's just one treatment could work like a charm for one person, and first treatment they get, and you're all good, and then that same treatment does nothing for the other person. It's everybody's brain is so individual. Which is kind of the double-edged sword of it all. So, yeah.
One of the reasons why I love your story, Jeff, is because, and you've already said it once in this interview. When you were a kid, you didn't know there was anything different about you.
No. Mm-mm.
You were thinking this was everyone's life. You never looked at this as like, and I hate this world, I have a disability. It was never, I have a disability.
Never.
No, I just have to learn differently. And, look, if you get a splinter in your finger until you can remove your splinter, you have something that you got to learn how to do something to get around the pain of that splinter. Okay. Yep. Well, I got to carry with the other 2 fingers and leave the other one, not carry with it because I got a splinter. Does that mean you're disabled? No, it means you learn how to live with your situation.
Right.
So what was the benefit to you of never knowing that you were, quote unquote, had a disability?
So all I can do to answer that is point to my parents, because my parents are the reason that I never thought I had a disability, that I never realized that there was something there that somebody could call a disability. When I was a kid, I don't remember the exact conversation. I don't even remember the words they used. I just remember the mentality they instilled in me very young. Don't even know exactly when. I just know it was very young. That they probably went something like this. Look, Jeff, you have had several surgeries up till now. You've had a couple brain surgeries already. You've had a couple eye surgeries already. You've been under the knife for a few things, and that might continue. You might have to have more surgeries throughout your life, and that's not a big deal, because you're normal. It's all good, and you're going to recover, and then you're going to carry on. And so you're not sick. You're not a sick kid. You're a normal kid that just has to have surgery once in a while. So go carry on, and do likewise. You know what I'm saying? So it was that kind of thing. And so I skateboarded when I was a kid. I broke my arm skateboarding. I played, tennis and did all the, I don't know. Of course, they did tell me, like, don't be an idiot. Don't play football, don't play rugby, don't play soccer, don't play things that like deliberately bang your head against things. Like, that would be a mistake. So I, they would steer me towards things like, hey, how about let's try that? Let's try band. Let's give that a shot. How about choir? So consequently, I've been a singer for 30 plus years. I love singing. Choir was one of the best things I ever did. Band, my wife Catherine and I met in 7th grade band class. If I hadn't been in band, who knows if I would have ever met her. So these were all amazing things that my parents pointed me towards, that I'm very thankful for, and that they never told me that I couldn't do something because of what I was born with. So it was an amazing mentality to have instilled very young. And I know not everybody gets that, which is why I'm very thankful. So.
No. Look, I know that your parents are very, very important to you. Your parents also have a huge part in the journal. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, when I told my parents that I was publishing this journal, my dad is quite the poet. He's a writer. He's not officially a writer. He's never really done it professionally. He was a franchise owner and a business owner his whole career. And did very well with that, but he for some reason got the mind of a writer, of a poet, and so every time we would go on a trip, he'd write a poem about it, and they were always awesome. I still have most of them here, and so they did the same thing for the journal. And there's actually a spot in the journal. What is it? Let's see. I got it right here. The foreword. That's right. He wrote the foreword. My mom and dad. My dad probably had most to do with it, but yeah, they literally wrote the foreword in the journal, and it's incredible. It almost brought tears to my eyes the first time I read it. It made my wife cry first time she read it. It was so beautiful. So yeah, it's that's how much of a part of this they are. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I got to tell you, I love I love you and your wife. I love your struggle. I love everything that you do with this struggle, because it truly does prove that, you know what, brain injury doesn't mean impossibility. Brain injury just means, okay, your block is a little rounded on the edge. It's not it's not a sharp edge. So maybe your house is going to be built with a corner, with a round corner instead of a sharp corner. That doesn't mean you don't have a good house. It just means your house is going to be a little bit different in getting to your house. Or building your house is going to have to be done a little bit different. But we're giving you the tools. Let's go with these tools. So, and what you're doing, look, I think your journal, and I was talking about this, I've been talking to you about this for a long time. Yeah. I suggest to people, no matter what your injury is, connect with Jeff, support his organization, and get one of these journals, because Somebody who has to go to a doctor over and 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 over again understands, well, there was this one doctor who said this during this meeting, and I can't remember exactly when it was, and he's prescribed this medication. And, if you don't have that information, they're going to ask you that information. You're going to go, well, I feel like an idiot because I don't know.
Right. Well, and then you add to it the fact that hydrocephalus, right? So the surgeries that all the brain surgeries I had were done right back here behind the right ear. That's where the shunt is, right there, is right behind my right ear. That's where the big scar is. That's where the hole in my skull is that has that tube accessing the fluid. All the thing. That's where all the trauma has happened to the brain. For those who maybe don't know as much about the geography of the brain, like up here is cognitive thought, right? And all the different pieces of the brain do different things, right? Well, back here is a short-term memory. That's where the short-term memory lives. My long-term memory is stellar. You asked me what my phone number was when I was 5 years old, I'm in. You tell me, you asked me what color the couch was in my childhood home, I can tell you with painstaking detail. You asked me something from 6 months ago, I got nothing. Short-term memory is not awesome. It's getting better every day. Like I have tools that I use and there's things that which I can share with anybody that wants to know because it really did help. But that's where the short-term memory lives in the brain. So that's part of the other reason we created this, because if you write it down, you don't have to remember it. You write it down and then you've always got it. You just remember to grab that book on the way to the appointment and you're good to go. So
275-2705. That was my phone number when I was in high school. My parental phone number. That's it.
Yep.
To remember my current phone number, I have to do the jingle thing that I do in my own head every time. Hey Zach, what's community pay it forward's phone number? 970-9090-751. I say it in a way that helps me remember it because I sound like a jackass a little bit. Sound really pompous, but it strikes a memory in my head. But yeah, I'm like you. I can remember my childhood phone number. Struggle to, I don't know my wife's right offhand. So
I only remember my wife's because when we got cell phones 20 whatever years ago, we got them and they signed us up close enough to each other that our phone numbers are only one digit apart from each other. So the last four of hers is 0213, the last four of mine is 0212. So that's the only and everything else is identical between the phone numbers. So that's one reason to remember hers. You
want to know what's really funny? Adrian switched over to my phone carrier about 6 months ago, but she had a different phone number. The phone number they gave her is only one digit off of mine that I've had for over 7 years. Imagine the luck on that. Right? I was like, when I first heard hers, I was like, oh my God, that's
you gotta be kidding
the hell?
Yeah.
And it was, there's only one digit, and that's really painting me in a bad picture because I can't remember
that's helpful though, right? Because then you can remember it, right? That makes it really easy to remember.
So, hey Jeff, how do before we go, need to know if there was anything that you wanted to talk about. Do you have any events coming up? Anything, any way people can support you?
The one thing that we are toying with right now, we haven't launched it yet because honestly, I'm not sure exactly how yet. I gotta, figure out the structure of everything right now. But because I've been on the air for over almost 3 years, and I've had so many different guests, and let's be honest, not everybody's appearance on podcasts or TV shows or not everybody is 100% prepared, right? Not everybody knows exactly what they need to do to prepare for that episode, to prepare for that recording. And so over the 3 years we've been doing this, I have found that there are only a few things that people aren't, that maybe if you just had these half a dozen things, help with these half a dozen things, you would be stellar every time you went on and appeared on a podcast, appeared on a TV show. And so we want to create a program around that. And it's not going to be free, because we're going to be bringing in other experts, because I don't know everything about everything. That's the sign of a good business owner, right? You do what you do well and surround yourself with the people that do everything else well, right? So that's going to be part of it too, but it will be a pay to play kind of thing, but it'll be totally worth it if your focus is to be on more shows and to do it well. So keep an eye out on our social media for that. But that's something I'm pretty excited about. We're hoping to launch that sometime in the next 2 or 3 months. So, yeah.
It sounds great. I know, I love working with you. I love having you as part of this month, because you are inspiring. We've had your wife on the show before. You
Yep.
guys are both, inspiring, because, your wife tells the story of how, when Jeff goes bad, the family now knows what to do. You guys have had enough experience that they know, okay, Dad needs to be, there's limitations. There's limitations, but it's not just, oh my God, Jeff, Zach, they have limitations. No, you have limitations. Everyone does.
Right.
Okay? There's a certain time in life where something's got to be done, so you can just, and it doesn't matter if it's just when you're pissed off. Okay. You've got limitations, when you got to do something different. So just, don't look at somebody else because they've got to do a little bit different than you as somebody with a handicap or disabled in any way. They've just got a different learning curve. That's it.
Right.
That's it. There's no difference between you and them.
Yeah. I mean, different doesn't mean inferior. Different just means
absolutely
different.
not.
Different just means everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Everybody's pretty similar, but the way people arrive at decisions and arrive at solutions and arrive at different, that's different for everybody. So you can't, everybody knows that. So why is it so difficult to believe that maybe somebody's way of getting around or coming to a solution or solving a problem or, would be different too, based on a brain injury or based on a physical injury of some other kind. Everybody does it a little different. We accept it everywhere else. Why is this any different? So
it should be. It should just be a way. Look, it's got to be a way that we look at each other. Look, you shouldn't be punished for who you are,
right?
And and people shouldn't. The truth is that we should ask people, hey, how can I make this job easier?
Mm-hmm.
But not to me. Ask it to everyone. What can I do to make this a job that we can both have success in?
Yeah.
Me as a boss, what can I do for you, new employee, that's going to enable you to do this job a little bit easier?
Oh, man. That just sparked in my brain somebody you need to talk to, man, to get on the, and I don't remember if you've ever met her or not, but I'm gonna write this down real quick so I remember to tell you later. So
that's not a problem. Before I let you go, Jeff, two questions for you. What can you do to help someone today, and how can we help you?
What can I do to help somebody today? Give them my email, reach out at jeff@jcpearsongroup.com. And, if you have questions about our nonprofit Hydro with Hope, if you have questions about the TV show, if you have questions about some of the resources that I've kind of hinted at, that have helped me claw my way back out from some of these crazy, wicked, funky side effects from brain surgery, I am a walking encyclopedia of resources for this kind of stuff. I want to share them with you. So if anybody knows, has experienced that, or has any questions, I would love to help you. So that is my invitation. Reach out and let's have a conversation. So
Okay, and one way that you can help Jeff is by the QR code that's right above my shoulder right here. Okay, we have partners all over the United States, all over the world, believe it or
Yep.
not, who have teamed with us. And when you do business with them, they donate to a cause that you love. If what you've heard about Jeff really strikes a chord in your heart and you would like to donate money to him, well, go to his website. If you would like to do some shopping and have a portion of that purchase go to Jeff, scan the QR code. Let's help him out, because you can do that
Actually,
simply by
I actually have a
partnering.
I have a new link that I got to get to you for fundraising. So for
All right.
donation, I got a new one to get to you. So I'll get that to you, and we can get that on there. So
Yeah, that's
it's
perfect.
it's even
But
easier than the
in
website. So
Yep, but well, we don't deal with money here at Community Pay It Forward. All we do is we
right.
have a deal with with businesses, small to medium businesses
Yep.
all over the world. You do business with them, and what you pay, a portion of that is going to go to support programs like Hydro with Hope. So very simple. All you got to do is scan that QR code. First, you can learn more about Jeff and what they're doing. Second off, your receipt can be a donation to help him continue. Jeff, brother, I appreciate it so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for being a part of Brain Injury Awareness Month for 2026. I'm looking forward to us getting on and doing much, much more together. I know that we've got this new form that we're putting together about how to help someone with a brain injury as an
Nice.
employee, how to help them be more comfortable in their job. I'm
Yep.
looking forward to working with you to make that even better. So,
Bring it
but
on.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Always a started my organization. I started my TV show in April of 2023, and I started it because I had a wonderful conversation with somebody that helped me realize that I actually had a story. A lot of people have a story, and everybody has a story that somebody needs to hear. But the thing is, most people don't realize it, because for me, it was life. You just live your life, and it's the grind. You're just going through life, just doing what you can to survive, and you don't really think about, oh, this would be a really cool story, or maybe somebody else would want to hear this story, until somebody else tells you, wow, that's amazing. We need to get you in front of other people. And so once that happened, Julianne at E360 TV was that person, and I was at a conference and was introduced to her, and she said, "Good Lord, what a story! Let's talk about this." And we had some conversations, and it came around to me eventually launching my TV show, which is Invisible Condition, which airs on E360 TV on the Eryn TV channel, and we've been on the air every Tuesday and Friday at noon Eastern time for the last almost 3 years now, just from that conversation and just from her helping me to realize that, heck yeah, I have a story, and it's important, and it needs to get out there. And so I said, well, what if my story's important? I want to bring other people on the show that are kicking butt and taking names, despite some sort of invisible condition they're dealing with, because their story is important too. So that's what we do. We share those stories and get their businesses out there and to the world. So my business is a little bit multifaceted. My main gig is my TV show, Invisible Condition. That has been my main gig for the last 3 years, almost 3 years. And that has been amazing. That has taken up a lot of time, but it's so worth it to get those stories out. I do have a couple other aspects of what we do. I'm also a international speaker. I am an author. I do also have a nonprofit called Hydro with Hope, which I've been, so thankful to be able to talk about with folks in this community before. But that is my main gig, is the TV show, and it's been so awesome to be able to get those stories out there. see us heading with this TV show in a couple different directions. I really would like to make this more of a passion project than a moneymaker, because right now we do make some money with it, and that's awesome. But I don't want that to be the main focus for this show, because this show is so much more than that. I am launching a second show called 6 Degrees of Impact. That is where the business end of things are going to be more prevalent. We're going to be interviewing, business owners and leaders and people in Hollywood, people in, tech and all these different things. We're going to be, be more focused on the financial side of things for that one. For Invisible Condition, the direction I see that going is honestly, I want everything to be free for anybody that wants to be on the show and just come on and tell your story. And so that is what I'm really going for. And we're working on it. We've got some conversations happening right now with some organizations and some sponsors and things like that we're going to be able to make that possible, because everything takes money. But I don't want that to be a hindrance for somebody that wants to tell their story. So in the very near future, that is going to be the case, and we'll be able to just say, come on, open the floodgates and just get those stories out there. Best way I can think of to pay it forward today is to, recognize all those people that are on the show and that want to be on the show, and just recognize that you are out there. You're not invisible. Like, we see you, we acknowledge you, we know you're here, we love you, we understand your story. And that's why I say at the beginning of every episode, you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. And the one other thing that I love to tell people that really encapsulates that is life doesn't have to be perfect to be amazing. So when you're out there doing stuff, just remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about the launch. It's not necessarily about the what you want to do. It's getting out there and doing it. So that's what it's about.
Every Friday, people across the country put on red for one reason: to honor the women and men who left the comfort of home so we can live freely. These shirts are not about politics. They are not about a war. They are not about religion. They are about gratitude. They are about respect. They are about remembering everyone deployed. When you purchase one, you help us launch the Come Together Compass, a program built to guide families and heroes to the support that they need. Wear your pride, wear your gratitude, support Red Friday. Remember everyone deployed. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it very, very much. Once again, he is a great friend of mine. It still is amazing to me that he's 2.5, 3 hours from us, and we still never met in person. It's amazing how much technology has made life easier, but made community a little bit harder, if that makes sense. But every time Jeff and I talk, we talk about how we need to get together, but now it's going to happen, because he's got a child that's soon going to be attending a college very near to us. So we will be making that pilgrimage to where his family's going to be, and we'll be able to do this. So once again, thank you, Mr. Jeff Pearson. I greatly appreciate it. Again, support everything that they've got going on, because, they're just trying to make life better for others. Next up, We have Eryn, and the last name in which she told me about the last name, and I thought it was gorgeous. I'm not at liberty to share it, but Anitavi, Eryn Anitavi, and she has gifted us this beautiful set. It's her books, If and Then, the Neurodivergent Rule Book. Okay. One is the book itself that talks about neurodivergence and some myths and, other things that people go through, problems. Then the second one is the actual playbook. It's the rules. It's how to even the score. It's how to even the game and make sure that we're all playing it correctly. But we're going to be giving this away along with the wonderful blanket from our friends at Dignified Dementia right here. Okay? And you can get you can get your chance to win by simply scanning the QR code up in the corner. Every dollar you donate gives you a spot on the wheel. We are looking for more prizes. We will be giving it away at the 1st of next month. We had to extend it because we did not hit our 150 limit. So we need to keep going. It is to help us build the Come Together Compass. So once again, we are proud to add on that wonderful gift set from Eryn Anitavi.
Today, I want to shine a light on an organization doing truly beautiful work, Dignified Dementia. Their mission is simple, powerful, and deeply needed. They help families navigate the challenges of dementia with dignity, compassion, and real-world support. They understand that dementia doesn't just affect one person, it affects entire families, and they step in with resources, education, and comfort to make sure no one walks that journey alone. And in the spirit of comfort, connection, and care, Dignified Dementia has donated something incredibly special to support the Come Together Compass, a beautifully stitched fur-lined blanket. This blanket isn't just warm, it represents the comfort we all deserve. It represents the support we all need, and it represents the kindness that keeps our community strong. Every dollar donated gets your name on the wheel of giving. $1, 1 spot. $5, 5 spots. Every donation helps us continue building the Come Together Compass, a system designed to guide families, veterans, and neighbors to the help they need when they need it most. And yes, one lucky supporter is going home with this incredible blanket from Dignified Dementia. This event runs through April 1st, and every contribution brings us one step closer to making sure no one faces crisis alone. Dignified Dementia stepped up with comfort. Now we're asking you to step up with support. Together, we can build a community where compassion isn't just a word, it's an action. And the Come Together Compass makes that possible.
So you just got done watching an interview with Jeff and I. And the greatest thing about Jeff is he introduces me to some wonderful, wonderful people. And as we were finishing up this interview, he goes, have I ever introduced you to Eryn? And I have to sit there and I have to think about it, Eryn, because I'm like going, I claim head injury, but the truth is I wasn't that smart before the head injury, so I don't know.
You can't beat Jeff because he's got his half a dozen brain surgeries. That you can't do that one.
Yeah. So, but he had not yet introduced us, and then you and I have been talking now for about an hour, and it's just been amazing. And so I am so glad that on this, the last day of Brain Injury Awareness Month, we have you on. I'm proud to introduce Eryn Anitavi, who is an author And that's just a small part of what you're doing. I love your mission in life because it really ties into what we are trying to do with small businesses, giving businesses a chance where there's very few chances for business owners.
Yeah.
Can you please tell everybody what your mission is and how you're doing it?
Well, the small business fail rate is a catastrophe. 50 to 80% of small businesses fail, and we just shrug and we're like, oh, whatever. It's just, it's just how it is. It's just part of the risk. No, sorry, wrong answer. Next. If 50 to 80% of kids did not graduate from school, if 50 to 80% of mortgages resulted in foreclosure, if 50 to 80% of medical procedures resulted in complications, it would be a global crisis. So why do we just shrug and accept that 50 to 80% of small businesses fail? This is a catastrophe. And the way that we can kind of wrap our heads around that is go the opposite. What would happen if 80% of small businesses succeeded? What would happen to our communities, to job growth, to innovation, to GDP, to tax revenue, to states? What would happen if 80% of small businesses succeeded? So that's the mission, is how do we make that happen? And my angle, which is going to be the subject of my future PhD thesis, is small business and social welfare as an economic infrastructure. Why social welfare? Because of the statistics that back up who needs social welfare. Who are we talking about? 20% of the population is neurodivergent. That's a pretty high number.
Yeah.
72% of entrepreneurs are neurodivergent or neurodivergent adjacent. 72%. So if we have a 50 to 80% fail rate and 72% of entrepreneurs are in the neurodivergent circle, I call correlation. I think we probably should be paying attention to this a little bit more than we do. So we tackle the fail rate for small business through neurodivergency and through scarcity, because well, I'm entering into one of those monologues. So are we going in the direction that you want to go?
Yeah, but before we go into one of those monologues, you actually said earlier that you weren't afraid to talk about government a little bit. I do actually kind of want to say something. If these small businesses would succeed, that big money wouldn't be such an issue, because they wouldn't have a full-on run of all the money that goes into the world. If not every store in the world was Walmart, then Walmart wouldn't be the only store in the world. Yep. In layman's terms, I guess. But I mean, if we could make it to where people didn't have to go shop at the big guys, then the big guys' money wouldn't be so prevalent. And that's something that's for anybody who wants to make a difference in just their communities. If anybody, those who want to make a difference in the country, this is a good place to get started. It really, truly is.
And it goes so far beyond just like the mom and pop shop. Because that used to be how business was done. The world that existed when that was around is no longer around. It's not going to, right? You know, technology, like, there's no point looking back. We need to look forward. And when you look at our awareness of diversity and neurodivergence and technology and AI and all of these things that we have now that are magical instruments to create a future that our children's children will be proud to live in. We unlock that through supporting neurodivergency and tackling the scarcity issue. And I don't know. I feel like when we talked about it in our previous one, that there was a little bit more fluency in connecting the pieces here. But in scarcity, there's a book that I really like called Scarcity: Why Having So Little Matters So Much. And the researchers who wrote that, they did studies that proved that scarcity results in cognitive deficit. When individuals are in scarcity, there can be up to a 13 to 14 point IQ drop, which is more impactful than sleep deprivation. Your ability to make decisions in scarcity is compromised. And neurodivergent people are more susceptible to the impacts of scarcity. So if we have 72% of people, of entrepreneurs in neurodivergent circle, and we have an 80% small business fail rate, and we have high sensitivity to scarcity, how on earth are those businesses going to make it? When you are looking at, am I going to buy food tomorrow? Can I pay my rent in 2 weeks? Versus, can I innovate that box that I've got hiding in the garage that I've been thinking about for 25 years, that I really think I can patent this thing? No, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to create the thing that you wanted to create. You're not going to be able to build the business that you wanted to build because you are trying to get out of scarcity. It is a cognitive limitation. And if we want to see small businesses thrive, we have to address scarcity, because the neurodivergent person is more sensitive to that. So it is a higher impact. How do we address scarcity? We address scarcity through social welfare, as economic infrastructure, not as charity, not as welfare, as economic infrastructure, to improve the cognitive ability of the people who are the ones who create the innovation, who create the small businesses, who empower our communities, who make the jobs. I don't know. I hope that made sense.
Yeah. I just want to make everything clear to people. Can you please explain neurodivergent?
Oh, yes, because we jumped right over that.
Yeah, we just want to make sure. Look, it's kind of one of those, in this world, in the world that you and I deal with on a day-to-day basis, neurodivergent is one of those words that we hear all the time. Not everybody does hear it, and it's kind of, you kind of forget that other people might be a little clueless, or not even clueless, or even curious to the definition. So
you're like, oh, I've heard this word, here and there, or no, I've never heard it. Exactly. It's all the things that make our brains just a little bit different. Neurological diversity, neurodivergence. Anything that makes you think a little bit differently than somebody else. Anything that you see things differently. It doesn't require ADHD, autism, dyslexia, OCD, traumatic brain injury, right? All of these things impact the neurology of our minds, but it doesn't require a diagnosis, which is the beautiful thing about neurodivergence. It's just an umbrella that says, hey, I think a little bit differently. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't carry the same stigma, at least, in my experience, as walking into a room and saying, hey, I'm autistic. Like, I have no problem with that because I'm a loud advocate for this, this kind of thing. So I'm like, I am autistic. But as a student going into school or into a new job, right, the disclosure of any kind of thing is, well, it's like hiding a master's degree in a drawer. Whatever it is that makes your neurology just a little bit different is a master's degree in whatever it is that is different. And we hide it in a drawer. And accommodation is the frame that allows us to hang our master's degree. When you have the right kinds of accommodation, you're able to pull that degree out and say, hey, you know what, actually, I need this little thing in order to be the best version of myself. So when we, as a society, raise disclosure into distinction, we get, this is the beginning of a societal shift. When you can say, I am neurodivergent, and somebody says, well, what does that mean? I just think a little bit differently.
Look, neurodivergency can be, well, it's not can be. It is, your own neurodivergency is shaped by trauma or by how you were raised. What you believe is something that affects your neurodivergency. And that's where we always talk about, look, somebody who has autism or another type of brain injury, they are learning how to do things with their divergency. We'll just put it that way.
I have one of the chapters in my book is called "You Don't Look Like a Project Manager," which goes into I'll find it later, but it takes the same approach. It's like, well, but you don't look autistic. Well, you don't look like a customer service agent. Okay. Yeah. That's what I do. That's my experience. That's how we work.
Yeah,
so it's not the label. The label is a gift. The label says, I can claim this, and I don't have to spend 25 minutes telling you about how I think differently. I can just say, hey, I'm autistic.
Right.
And then we get on with the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
Helps to identify.
I wonder sometimes if, and let me ask you if you've run into this, that somebody says, hey, I am autistic, and we instantly get this thing. People instantly get this feeling that, well, there's something wrong with this person.
Yep. When
autism, there are many, many different levels of autism. Okay.
Oh, yes, there is.
There are people who are highly, highly functioning. We can name some autistic people that are, some of the smartest people in the world. Most successful people in the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's one of them who's one of the rich, or who possibly is the richest person in the world. But, when you hear the words, I am autistic, people get scared because they don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
What they need to realize is, you know what? I grew up believing horses ate cows. Okay? That kind of shaped my brain. That's a real story. I did grow up thinking that that's the reason why cowboys rode horses. Because, the cows were afraid of the horses. I was an idiot as a kid, so, well, there had to be a reason why, cowboys were all around all those cows. But, look, it's just the way that we were taught. It's the way that we were brought up. People with autism, TBI, stuff like that. All they have to do is find the way that they need to work with things. There is no difference. We don't need to be treating people differently. We need to accommodate them, But that is a benefit for everyone.
Yeah.
And
One of the quotes that I gave you, I think when we were talking before, when you build for the minority,
I love this quote.
Better for the majority. But when you build for the majority, you alienate the minority. Because if you think about anything that we have today, it is because of some kind of accommodation that was designed. Elevators, accommodation. Texting on your phone, accommodation. Bluetooth, accommodation. It started out as an accommodation, but because we were building for the minority, we solved a key problem that benefited the majority. But if you're like, nah, sorry, the majority rules, you actually make the world way more limited and smaller. You decrease the creativity and the innovation. You build for the majority, you alienate the minority. So you build for the minority, you make it better for everyone. So that's where it comes into, right, the disclosure to distinction. So like one example, when if you're running an organization and you run into a crisis, company-wide crisis, like, oh my gosh, we screwed something up, we need everybody on deck. If you don't know who your ADHD players are, you're doing your company a disservice. Not because I want to stereotype ADHD players, but the neurodivergent keywords for ADHD, the things that kind of throw into that bucket, is a high tolerance to stress, hyperfixation, and a love of a challenge, and getting something the first 60% the way through. So if you put 10 of your ADHD players in a conference room and you give them snacks and you say, we have 3 hours to solve this crisis, that's probably going to be a pretty fun day for those folks. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, man, bring it on, I'm ready for this. But if you have autism in that room, this is not a good scenario. This is high stress. This is not good. In marketing, what if we had more dyslexic people in marketing? Words are hard. Images. How do we communicate in pictures? How do we communicate in feelings? When you pull words out of the picture, what manifests? What becomes possible? So if we identify these skills, what do we create? What becomes possible?
I absolutely love your examples. You know, when you were telling us, or when we were first talking, you told us the example of a cookie store, which of course you couched my attention there. You know,
you want to hear
cookie
that?
store, elevator, and
yeah.
And I do your examples they're fun. So tell us about your book here, If/Then Neurodivergent Rulebook.
Yep. So it's nonlinear. You can read it from the middle to the end. You can read it from the beginning. You can start at the end. It is completely and totally nonlinear because neurodivergence. And each story is prefaced by an if-then shard, which is, if I could boil my entire world into 2 words, it would be if then, because if this, then that. If this, then that. And the way that my neurodivergency works, I have categorized so many different experiences, and if this, then that. So the story is, how did that, what is the correlation? What is the if and then the then that happened in the shard? And then we examine what created it, and then there's a rule at the end. So for any one of the stories, it's kind of, you know, humanitarian or advocacy or conflict management or small business. There's all of the different rule sets that go into it. The story is merely the framework that holds it, but it's our story as neurodivergent humans. It's all of us together. What are we putting together? What are we building?
What is your... I'm going to ask you two questions that sound similar, but hopefully there's going to be two different answers. The first question is, what is your favorite quote or subject in your book? And two, what is the most important subject or quote you're going to get out of this book?
One of my favorites is actually one of the speeches that I do pretty often, actually. It's called the Pirate Who Runs Marathons, and the quote that goes with it. Let's see here. So the if-then shard for the Pirate Who Runs Marathons is: if information is empowering, then seek it relentlessly. And the rule that goes with this story is: without the right resources, you are not the problem. So that is kind of the core of the mission. When we don't have the right resources, we are not the problem. So we need to create those resources. So that's one of, I would say that's probably my favorite quote, is without the right resources, you are not the problem. But the story, the one that is the most fun in this whole story, is one that I particularly enjoy. I've had multiple people tell me I should do stand-up comedy. Because
I actually get that quite often too.
Because it's a thing. One of the stories is called "The Bucket List I Didn't Know I Needed," and then "The Art of Becoming a Warrior," because I broke my leg wrestling a Viking a few years ago, and then I went to Paris in a wheelchair. And that was a whole experience. The bucket list thing, I was like, I didn't know that I needed to break my ankle and go to Paris in a wheelchair.
I just got to tell you, the vagueness in that statement really can lead the mind to wander. Okay. I'm just stating a fact that the vagueness in that quote right there. I broke my leg wrestling a Viking.
Yep. It was
okay. A little more, right?
Yeah. I actually made myself famous at the hospital. I didn't mean to. One of the subchapters in that is I didn't mean to become an ER legend. But it was a class in Tacoma at the Sword Fighting Academy, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that, and I broke my leg 20 minutes into the class. Yeah, trying to do a mat throw on one of the smaller Vikings, but it was a Nordic wrestling class called Glima, which is like Nordic jiu-jitsu. And I got a little carried away.
Yeah, I actually had one of the EMTs visit me in my hospital room after my motorcycle accident, and of course I don't remember any of this, but she came in and asked me how I was doing, and I was like going, fine, who the hell are you? And she goes, well, I just had to come in and see how you were doing, and I'm like going, okay, I've been in the hospital before, I've never had. She goes, do you not remember what you said to me? And I was like going, no, I don't. What did I say to you? And she goes, I was asking you all the questions on what was hurting, and I was just doing and you go, how come nobody's worried about my toe? My toe hurts. And she was like, it was just the way that you said it was so hilarious. I ended up losing my toenail. I was wearing steel toe boots, and my toe slammed against the steel toe boot, and it ripped the toenail off. And nobody knew about it because, you know, my leg was fine. All the damage was done up in the head. But she goes, you just said it was such curiosity. Why is nobody asking me about my toe? Yeah, she was like, I just wanted you to know, you really caught me off guard when you asked that question. I was like, oh. And the funny thing about that is the nurse looked at my toe at that moment. They had never noticed it before.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I guess we better put a bandage on that. I'm like, oh my God, come on, what is going on? So, but yeah. So
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Eryn, you are doing us a huge favor by offering us this beautiful package, which has your book. It has the it has the actual rules attached to it. And then explain the wand for me, because this wand is just gorgeous.
I like to paint, but the canvas, like that kind of painting, is way too overwhelming for me. So I paint magic wands. They're small, they're manageable, and I can do, I love tiny things. Like, that's one of the neurodivergent things that, like, for me, like, the tinier something is, the cooler it is. And with these magic wands, I can do these tiny little details and not get overwhelmed by it. So I started painting magic wands, and so I now I paint them and I attach them to the special edition of my book, and I use them sometimes as gifts and stuff too. But yeah, it's just I like to paint magic wands. So
well, I greatly appreciate this, and somebody on May 1st on May Day is going to walk away with this prize, along with somebody walking away with the blanket from Dignified Dementia, and I want to thank you so very much. We end every show with the same question to all of our guests, and to me it's a very important question. And Eryn, this question is very simple. What can we do to help you, and what are you doing to help others?
Oh, get me on stages. That is my singular request. If you have a stage, if you know of a stage, I don't care if it's a virtual stage or an in-person stage. If there's one person in the audience or a million, I don't care. Because this mission is critical to the survival of the people in the world. It is critical to our future, and I am not the one to create the businesses that will push this. All of the people that I am talking to, yourself and Jeff, and the incredible leaders that are building, oh my gosh, the things that people are building are glorious and amazing, and they need to succeed. You, if you are listening to this, you need to succeed. Your business, your idea, your box in the garage, that folder that's hiding on your Google Drive that you haven't looked at because you don't think anybody cares. Somebody cares. Somebody needs what you have, and you need to build it. And the only way we're going to build it is if we come together and we identify the reason that 80% of businesses fail. We have to fix that. So for me, I am the megaphone, I am the loud advocate, I am the one who is going to scream and yell and stomp and drink my tea and get very mad about all of it, because I need you to be empowered. I need you to reach more people. So that is my request. Put me in front of people so that I can yell and stomp and shout and drink tea. and write books about neurodivergency.
And what's the one thing that you are doing right now that helps people the most?
That is helping you to realize that it's okay. Whatever it is that you yell at yourself at 9 p.m. for, it's okay. You can stop. You don't have to do that. It's something that we all struggle with. Imposter syndrome, the negative berating. We're so mean to ourselves. And it's okay. You have...
Oh, I am so guilty of that. I am so guilty of that. I call myself an idiot every day. God, if you would have just not paid attention to this for a little bit, you could have got so much more done.
Yeah. Yes.
And I am so guilty of that at times.
Many of us do that. So many of us do that. And why? What is it that is in our environments that makes us feel that we have to do that? That's part of it. You know, it's like, I want to reach you. I want you, as in you, Zach, and you as you listener, whoever you are, to recognize and remember it's okay. Your neurological diversity is okay. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Eryn, I want to make sure that you understand and you know you are always welcome to come back here on the podcast, onto our podcast. It doesn't have to just be for Brain Injury Awareness Month. I'd like to have you on all the time. I appreciate what you're doing. Look, when people start a business, and this is something that we need to understand, when you walk into a small business, their heart, you're looking at their heart, you're looking at their soul, you're looking at them.
Yeah.
When, you know, no matter what it is, if it's a hardwood, a hardware store, this is their heart and soul. This is what makes them them. This is their entirety.
Yeah.
And
the one that I think I said it in our last call, small businesses and leaders don't fail because they're not trying hard enough. They fail because the system is not designed to support them.
Yep. And when you said that, I told you about some of the things that people have told me. You know, some coaches have told me, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be here to help me, not tell me that I'm dumb. You know, I mean, and what makes you think that your version of my success is correct and mine is not? You know, so
the neurodivergent market is a $2 trillion market that's currently untapped because people don't know how to talk to us.
Yeah.
If part of that business thing is talking to neurodivergent people.
Yeah. So, once again, Eryn, people can get a hold of you, and I will link all of this information to the details of this interview, but people can reach out to you on your LinkedIn. And then you also have an email people can reach out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The Eryn at Sapphire Dynamics.
Okay.
So Sapphire like the gemstone because I like shiny things, and Dynamics because there's a lot of ways to look at things.
All right. And once again, we will also put that on the information in the chat because you got to be particular with the spelling of her name. Her name is beautifully spelled. It's very unique, and I appreciate that so much. But and then is Amazon where your book is found? Is that the only place right now?
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, hey, you say unfortunately, but you know what? It's found. That's the important part. It's found.
Yes.
But you can also potentially win a copy of this book by scanning the QR code above Eryn's head right now. And on May Day, we are going to give away one of the copies of the book in a beautifully packaged arrangement. Arraignment?
Yeah, no, probably not that one.
Yeah, probably not that one.
I'd rather not be right. No.
But I would personally suggest, you know what, if you are a small business owner, or if you have dreams of becoming a small business owner, you might want to get on her calendar and sit down and talk to her a little bit. She's very inspiring. I'm telling you right now, we sat down for a 35-minute meeting, 35-minute meeting and recording. And we are now approaching our 2 hours that we've spent together today, which is just, and there's not been a wasted minute. I appreciate you so much on this. Everything is just, it's, look, there's so much to what you're saying, and so much that a lot of people don't think about. One of the things that we have not brought up is the lost money in neurodivergency.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's a $2 trillion market. Yeah,
it's this whole thing that if you're not accessible to people with handicaps, you know how much money you're leaving on the table.
But it's not just that too, because we are highly subject to scarcity. And the ones who are going to buy their friends material, we don't ask our friends for things for free because we want it for free. We ask it for free because we can't. It's a decision between rent and supporting my friend, or rent and hiring my neighbor. It's not that I don't want to hire my neighbor. It's not that I don't want to buy something that is supporting every single person in my apartment complex. I would buy from every single one of them today if I could. But when I look at that and I'm like, well, I don't actually have rent next week. I'm short. It's those kinds of things that prevent that. So when you look at neurodivergent people, we want to spend the money. We desperately want to. We would love to. So we need a system that helps us do that. I want to buy your candles. I want to buy your Tupperware. I want to buy your clothes. I want to buy the blankets that you make. I want to buy your app. I want to sign up for your service. I want you to coach me. I want all of these things. But I can't, because scarcity has got my hands chained. And that's not fair. That's not fair to any of us. That needs to stop.
Yeah. Well, Eryn, I do appreciate this, and I look forward to talking to you much more.
So many rants. So many rants. Would you believe that one of the autistic aspects that I struggle with is speech?
Really?
Yep.
It's
incredibly difficult. And more often than not, I can't. It is something that the energy that it requires to word find and do things like this, which is why from our first meeting to now, the connections and the things that I was making when we first talked to now, I'm sure you've probably seen, like if you were to look at both of those recordings, you probably see a slight difference, because as we're approaching the end of the day, my cognitive ability to actually speech, it goes away, and I can't create words. So that is that's one of the things that goes with it. That's the accommodation that I give myself, knowing that I am a public speaker who can't speak sometimes. So I create the world that allows me to do that.
I've recently had a gentleman on who throughout his life has had a pretty severe stutter, and he was afraid to talk to people. He had a genuine fear of talking to anybody, and he didn't talk to people. He would just stay silent, and once he figured out that his speech, even with the stutter, is not a handicap. It's a superpower. It's a super ability.
Yeah.
That he's got the power to do this. He's able to do it. But I mean, and with what you just said about, later in the day, I catch myself doing that all the time. If I would not have had the ability to take a break before you and I met the first time, this would have been completely different, because I was out of it earlier. My head was in a very, very bad spot. I had to take and get out of my, I had to take and reset my head. I had to take a nap. I had to go to sleep. I could not function this morning. I was able to take a nap, and I was able to reset myself. And that's just one of the tricks.
That's accommodation. You're giving yourself accommodation to allow for your neurodiversity. We don't get the superpower without the kryptonite. You have to deal with the kryptonite.
Right.
It's part of the package. So if people only want the superpower, they have to also understand that the kryptonite exists. The kryptonite is the accommodation. Like, you have to have it. You can't. You don't get the superpower without it.
Well, and a lot of times it takes, it's going to take you a little bit of time to figure out what works.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of time, and it takes a lot of patience, because you're also going to try a bunch of stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're going to run into walls, and you're going to get sick and tired of it, and you're going to get to a point where, and look, there's a lot of people who are just going to give up. They're going to be done with it. And you can't. You can't. There's solutions out there. You just got to, you got to have that will. You got to have that drive to say, you know what? I'm too good to give up. I'm too good to walk away from this. This is too important to me to just walk away. There's an answer out there. We just need to find it.
Yes. And if we connect and grow together and build this future that allows innovation to thrive, we're going to find it together. Because you build for the minority, you make it better for the majority. So we're going to find each other, but we got to build it first.
No. Well, not everything's apparent at once. So, Eryn,
thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I greatly appreciate this. This has been a great time today. And I've learned a lot. And it's just been amazing. So please connect with Eryn on LinkedIn, and like I said before, all of this information is going to be hyperlinked on the description of this video, so you can go there. It's going to be on the YouTube. You're going to be able to go on there and find it, check this stuff out, and get a hold of Eryn. Reach out to her on LinkedIn and say, hey, I saw you on Footprints Forward, and I appreciate what you said. Eryn, thank you for getting in on this, the last day of Brain Injury Awareness Month. But let's make sure that this isn't the last day that you consider what you can do for people with brain injuries. Let's make sure that this is something you think of every day. Just as you think about people, no matter what their divergency is.
Yeah.
Because all of us, every single one of us, is limited by something. The best way to work with them is to figure out how to utilize that
and
divergence.
Whatever limits you, build it to fix it, and that will do amazing things. It will build incredible things, because what you find fixes it for you is gonna unleash, who knows, it'll be the missing key for what somebody else is building. So it's, the limiter is it's kind of the flashlight that says, hey, build me.
Yep. Build me, they will come. So thank you very much, Eryn. I greatly appreciate it, and please do, let's keep doing this. Let's keep getting the word out.
I got plenty to say. Put me on the stage. All right.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you very much. And It was the first time I got to meet Eryn, and I am really hoping that it's not the last time I'm going to meet Eryn. It was such a fun time, and so much great information. You can see the passion, you can hear the passion in the way she talks and what she talks about. You can tell this is something that's not just important to her, she knows it's important to everybody. I love the way that she's talking. Look, anytime that you're saying, I don't like the way that 80% of businesses fail, I want to figure out how to make at least 80% succeed. I think that's acceptable to everyone, isn't it? I mean, knowing that there are 80% of people whose dreams, they have to let go of their dreams. That's terrible. That's terrible. And if we can do anything to support them, well, I think we should go on ahead and try to do that. Once again, she is giving us a book, her book, and that's got the 2-book set, along with a hand-painted, hand-designed magic wand, which I love because, you know, with the Come Together Compass, we can make the magic happen. And that's going to be given away alongside of this, the Dignified Dementia quilted blanket with fleece lining on the inside. Here, let's see. There you go. You can see like the fleece lining on the inside of it. Yeah, it's right there in the corner. Sorry, hard for me to move my arm right now. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful blanket. Very, very heavy, very soft, just very comfortable. Something that can make you or someone in your family feel a lot better. All you have to do is use the QR code up in the corner, send in a donation, help us create the Come Together Compass. That's it. We're done. I want to thank you very much for joining us. This is our first show of the new season. This is the beginning of season 4 for Footprints Forward. Come a long way. Come a long way. And I'm sorry, season 3. And I do appreciate everybody and every guest that we've had from the beginning. We are taking a new direction of Footprints Forward, where we will still focus heavily on mental health and try to find ways to support those with mental health. This show is going to be specifically for people to share their stories, or about people who are out there trying to make a huge difference for people in the community. So if you run a nonprofit, if you run organizations, or are an author or something like what you've just seen, you need to get a hold of us, okay? Let's see if I can do this. And I put it up earlier, but I really want you to get with us. Wow, this is looking ridiculous. It's got me drug over. Guys, we did some work on the house this weekend, and some idiot decided to get out there and start swinging a sledgehammer. And, well, my elbow just cannot take the pain anymore, so I got to stop trying to use it. So please forgive me and my, gimpiness, if you will. This to go with the neck issues I've already been dealing with. So send me an email if you would like to come on and share your story. Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayupforward.us. That's Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayupforward.us. I want to thank you all so very much again for the first 3 years of what we've been doing. I want to thank you very much for the first 3 years of helping people. I want to ask that you continue. The new Footprints Forward exists to honor the people who spend their lives lifting others. We will amplify the voices of changemakers and everyday heroes. and brave individuals who are willing to share their stories so no one has to struggle alone. Our mission is to create a community where truth is spoken, healing is supported, and every act of compassion leaves a footprint that guides someone else forward. We invite you to join us in this mission and beg you to come and join us. Again, if you would like to talk to me, it's Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us. Thank you so very much, and we will talk to you next week right here on Footprints Forward. Please remember to love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. No one has to go it alone when we all come together. Reach out to someone you haven't reached out to in a while and just tell them, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay. Because every once in a while, we all need somebody to reach out to us.